You're this perp back with another video, and I just got done. Well, not just got done, but I finally got around to reviewing episode 4 of Pantheon. I've watched this episode twice now, once on the app and then the second time as I was reviewing it, so I apologize for the delay. With all that being said and out the way, let's get right into it because this was a really interesting episode. So we finally get this guy's name. His name is Prasad. I think that's what his name is, and he's kind of been doing his own kind of upload, but it's kind of gone left, and we're starting to kind of see that with this opening scene of just, I liked how it was set up because before shit just started to hit the fan, all the employees at this building pretty much got like a text message saying like, yo, go home, you don't need to work anymore, you know what I'm saying, take the night off or whatever. And it was a perfect setup because then, you know, his creation kind of is fighting back in a more violent way to where I think it costed his family because his son pretty much was swimming and he got caught up in the little pool, like the little cover that's electronic, so that was pretty much drowning him and his wife and whatnot, or I guess his mistress, I don't know, pretty much probably burnt to death, who knows. I don't know if he got out of there in time. I'm assuming he did, so we're at the wait and see, but that was a really dope opening scene. Then we see Renee and Caspian looking for guns because Caspian wants to be ready, and man, Renee is really pulling off this mom thing really well, but on the other side of things, Carrie's not taking it too well, even to the point where he has to go to this kind of like safe house, and it's like almost like a surprise party, and they completely troll the hell out of him by saying number one dad, and he's just not really feeling it. Switching things over to Maddie though, she has this really interesting like nightmare where it's like this bring your parents to school day, and her father's in a lunchbox, but then ends up she pretty much has this fear of losing her father again to this like evil corporation, but she ends up waking up and then going into Reigns of Winter to kind of talk to her father, and something's up with her father, and this is where we finally get our introduction to Lori, and she really looks like the chick from Ghost in the Shell, drawing a blank on her name, but she has some questions to ask David, and she does that by force because we were led to believe that she was doing this for a purpose, like a good reason. She is, but she's doing it in a very aggressive way, which leads Maddie to kind of panic and finally like just put out her address, and not her address but her number to Caspian. And I thought these two were going to the same school, but it seems to be that they are in two different like states or whatnot, so that's interesting. But they're finally starting to kind of communicate, and this was really interesting because she starts to ask Caspian like, yo, why did you give Lori my information, like all those codes? And he didn't know that she was a she, you know. So then she also reveals to Caspian that, you know, I ghosted you because you were being followed, something's being tapped, that's why Lori told me to not mess with you. I just find it fascinating, and I think maybe by the end of the season they will actually meet in person, or either meet in person or meet in the Reigns of Winter, because I think that's how a lot of these characters are going to kind of try to figure things out. But it's really fascinating. So now that Caspian knows what's going on, it starts to kind of it starts to get really interesting, as now with the stuff with Prasad is starting to blow up. You know, you have Julius having to kind of trying to fix this and trying to get ahead of this. Then we start to kind of get more into Lloyd's backstory in this episode. In this episode, and what happens is that it was told that she died in a car accident at 31, which doesn't seem to be right. She was actually just put into a coma and uploaded, as Maddie tells Ellen. You know what I'm saying? So, and I like that Ellen and Maddie are kind of starting to work together on this. They're still kind of butting heads because Ellen still is kind of on the fence with all this stuff that's going on with David and being uploaded and whatnot, and she's not really convinced that she could really make this work, which makes this episode really interesting as it goes along. Then there's a ring at the doorbell, and Cody comes in furious, talking about, where's Lori? What have you done with Lori? And then Mom's comes in clutch, as always. She's always going to protect Maddie no matter what, and pepper sprays Cody, and pretty much Cody is just kind of upset because he doesn't know what's going on with Lori. She's starting to act really aggressive, a lot of anger he's starting to get from her, which then leads into David and Lloyd's whole conversation. Lori's trying to pretty much get David to kind of snap out of it. Like, you escaped this place once before, you could do it again. And similar to old boy that got kidnapped and Prasad was starting to do his experiment on him, he kind of broke it down to like they put him in this kind of like prison, so he's kind of stuck, but Lori's trying to get him out of that. And I like that Cody kind of breaks down their whole relationship and why he's doing what he's doing, and how they kind of made this kind of digital relationship really work. And it's really sad too, because they were literally trying to kill this woman, bro, but just ended up putting her into a coma and uploading her, and she started to do a bunch of things to make her presence known by playing songs and stuff. And they let it be known that they put little things of their memories in these little digital spaces to kind of keep their drive. I forget exactly how they worded it, but it had something to do with the reason why David and Lori and stuff were able to kind of break free from whatever cage that they were put in. So now Caspian is really suspicious, but also there's something really interesting going on with Hannah's character. We'll get into that very shortly. And he's searching for malware or like any type of, bugs in his computer. Nothing comes up. But I like how he breaks down this whole comic book here. And hopefully they could probably turn this into some type of actual series, have it be a spinoff, or maybe it's a not call back to Walking Dead. That would be cool though if they had like a Walking Dead comic instead of that. But you know what I'm saying, Caspian is definitely a very interesting character by every episode that goes by, man. So he is kind of starting to question, he's always kind of questioned his existence and just his reality, and just something is off. And it has something to do with his father, which I was completely caught off guard, but what they did with his father. Should I say, I was surprised that it was revealed that Carrie actually had more of a stronger relationship with Caspian than Renee. Renee really doesn't care about Caspian, which leads Carrie to be like, yo, you cannot trust Renee. I gotta be there for Caspian because she's unstable. And he really kind of throws her under the bus. Now, I'm not too sure that Renee would do anything to hurt Caspian, because it seems like she kind of is struggling with the whole being a parent and having to do her undercover work as well. So that's really fascinating to me. But what ends up happening towards the end of this episode, I can't wait to talk about, because it's very fascinating and definitely changes your perspective on everything with Renee and just Carrie and whatnot. And I'm really liking how everything's being flushed out. So Lori is continuing to push David into like kind of breaking out of whatever prison he's in by really threatening, just kind of threatening the ones that he loves, and that kind of makes him snap out of it. And then he starts to kind of come to his senses. It's like, damn, like I could finally do this now, which was really interesting. I really like how they're doing that. It really makes me feel like I'm watching something from Inception, just the way Lori's able to kind of manipulate things around her and That was really dope. But then we get this really dope scene or conversation between Ellen and Cody, and Cody kind of telling Ellen about just making the whole digital love thing work, where Ellen is kind of in disbelief, doesn't think that this is possible, even tries to convince Cody to kind of let go and just move on, and said, like, don't you miss a human's touch, because it's not the same. Ellen is a really good example of just humanity, like still just believing in humanity, doesn't believe really in none of this tech stuff, thinking that at any moment somebody can pretty much go rogue, and it's really unpredictable. So with now David able to crack out of this prison or wherever he's at, it starts to really mess things up for Logitech, or was it Logitech or Logarithm, or whatever the company name is. I'm fumbling on the company names. Logarithm, yes. So at this moment, Cody was about to just completely delete Lori and start to move on, but ends up getting a call, and they got to put things into motion, while Carrie makes his decision by, trying to go save Caspian, because he believes that they're going to try to kill Caspian, so he has to get to his son as quick as possible. Maddie is now able to hug her father and feel his touch once again digitally by, this suit that was given to her by Cody, and he pretty much breaks down that there's something wrong with Lori, and it's probably going to end up happening to him as well. And that's why Lori is there. Like, she wants his help to kind of fix this error to where she's not going to lose control. And hopefully he's able to kind of fix this, because if he's not able to fix this, then the same thing's going to happen to him, and then who knows what's going to happen from there. Finally, we get to the end of the episode, and man, talk about shocking reveals, because the way Caspian was looking in this episode, I was looking at the same way, like, wow, I didn't really see that coming. And this is where Caspian finally starts to kind of dig around in his computer and even to his phone, and he finds chips, and he realizes he's been bugged this whole entire time and whatnot, which makes him go search for his mom. And what he stumbles upon is his mom, Renee, talking to Hannah, and Hannah has been undercover this whole time, and Caspian just doesn't know how to just react. His face is just like he saw a ghost, man. And I really like this episode. I think it is really starting to kick it up a notch, and it's getting more and more interesting as each episode is being released and being put out. And I'm fascinated to see how this is all going to play out with 4 episodes left. Let me know how you guys feel about this episode. What were some of your favorite parts? What are your predictions for what's going to happen next? Till next time, I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.